Dear brothers, welcome back to the rest of the prophecy. Now that we are in the core prophecy, the prophecy was multifaceted. It covers both features of the near and far future based on what we have all learned so far from the scholars. It took 69 weeks according to the book of Genesis, chapter 29, verse 27. 69 weeks equates to 483 years. From the time Cyrus the Great gave the order to reconstruct the Jerusalem temple until the day on Palm Sunday, when Jesus Christ entered Jerusalem as a King of Jews. And one more prophetic week was left for the end times. Only this much is known by all. And even then, it is only a partial truth, like one side of a coin. In contrast, according to the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 25, it will only take 7 weeks, which means 49 years, from the announcement of the temple's renovation until the arrival of the Messiah in Jerusalem. Now, how do we solve this prophecy? We learn some things from history. The historian Josephus of the 1st century provided us with some facts, who documents that even since before Jesus Christ was born, King Herod the Great was renovating the Jerusalem temple. Why? Herod the Edomite realized that his country's Jewish populace was extremely religious and that their history of falling out with the multiple kings had left their kingdoms unstable in terms of their religious belief. So, with their approval, the Sanhedrin Council decided to keep Zerubbabel's temple, enlarge the temple that symbolized their feelings, extended its environs, and carry out miraculous projects, all with the notion that he would stabilize his reign by pacifying them. History states that it persisted in construction for many years. Unlike in the past, the Israelites are now comfortable where they are. They view the past as a troubled and hasty period in history. And now we reach the Bible. At Solomon's porch, during the first Passover of Jesus' ministry, there was some discussion about temple construction and the impending temple dedication festival in the coming winter season, because Herod the Great and his successors were almost finished with the temple enlargement work. Jews are well aware that, as verse 20 of John's 2nd chapter states, it took 46 years to construct the temple by then. When Jesus was a minister, there were 4 Passovers. This was the first, indicating that the triumphant arrival of King of Jews in Jerusalem will occur precisely 3 years from now. As everyone knows, on Palm Sunday, Jesus presents himself as the Messiah. And at the last Passover, he offered himself for everlasting sacrifice as Passover's lamb. Moreover, the Pontius Pilate describes Jesus as the Jewish king on the day of judgment for the crucifixion. Thus, 46 plus 3 is equal to 49 years or 7 weeks. The Jews could find the Messiah by applying a very basic calculation that the prophet Daniel provided. Unfortunately, though, they could not. Under Zerubbabel's direction, the 62 weeks were a difficult and hurried period. According to the book of Daniel, chapter 9 verse 25, walls and streets are rebuilt during this period, and the second temple will be built naturally enough on the primary foundation of King Solomon's temple. And the following 7 weeks, by Herod the Great, the temple was renovated by them. The 69 weeks period will have surely come to a conclusion, indicating the complete arrival of the Messiah. According to the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 26, and after 62 weeks, the Messiah will be cut off, signifying that his crucifixion will fulfill this prophecy. And after 62 weeks, which means 7 weeks mentioned before and 62 weeks here, for a total of 69 weeks, we are now in the contentious prophecy plot. Everyone cites the book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 27, arguing that it refers to the 7 years tribulation period. But there is no evidence of 7 years tribulation in that verse. But why this speculation, this campaign? Moreover, it is noteworthy that there is not a single verse in the Bible that refers to the 7 years tribulation period. This error is caused by thinking that Satan's promise of 1 week with many and Prophet Daniel's last week are the same. This is a really big mistake. Let's now address this issue here. According to the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verses 13 to 17, and also chapter 13, verses 1 to 18, specifically at this point in time, Satan knows he only has 1260 days. That's why in the second half of Prophet Daniel's last week, he vented his fury. Satan is aware that the Bible predicts he will face eternal judgment even if he is not omniscient. He will vent his fury of vengeance in the second half of Daniel's final week. Here a few things need to be clarified. What about the first half of Prophet Daniel's final week? The rapture will be visible to everyone, but no one knows when it will happen. According to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 6, 7 and 8, it takes place in the middle of the Prophet Daniel's last week. If everyone knows the start of the week, they will all know the hour of the rapture. According to the book of Zechariah, chapter 14, verse 7, this is known only to God the Father. Even Jesus Christ also strews it as the clock starts at the rapture, which occurs in the middle of the Prophet Daniel's final week. Therefore, Matthew chapter 24 verse 29 states that the second coming of Jesus Christ occurs immediately after the tribulation. The whole duration, which is merely the second half of the Prophet Daniel's penultimate week, plus some extra days, means 1260 days for Christians plus Jacob's trouble for Jews. God's wrath was limited to the infidels during the Jacob's trouble period, also known also as the 7 bowls judgment. Jews flee into the mountains during this time and look up their Messiah, much like grieving over the death of their only son for Jesus Christ, because their veil was taken off, like the 9 virgins in the Christians who were left behind. They must know this at this moment. Their opinions are the same. Both are waiting for Jesus Christ's second advent. Ephesians 3:6 states, mystery is that through the gospel, the Gentiles are heirs together with Israel, members together of one body, and sharers together in the promise in Christ.